Hello, this is Chiak. We have a new game, Sherlock Holmes versus Jack the Ripper. So, unfortunately, I completely forgot which number in the series of the Sherlock Holmes adventure games this comes as. But I have been playing the games in sequential order, except for I believe the very first one, because there was a bug that prevented me from even getting past a certain part. So, this should be very interesting because, well, who doesn't know Jack the Ripper? And if you don't know, it'll be a very interesting read considering the notoriousness of it all. So we're going to start a new set, and it's going to be a very long cutscene as I was testing things out. Here we go.
In the name of my health and yours, Holmes, stop smoking so much. There is more fog in our apartment than in the street.
You are right, Watson, but this evening is never ending, and I have nothing to do but make smoke rings. A more amusing pastime would suit better, but my doctor is against it.
Perhaps a little tune on the violin.
My heart is not in it tonight, Watson. Have you noticed how this cigarette burns? Would you not say it is like a life being consumed? How many lives will end tonight in London? How many crimes will be committed within the life of a single cigarette? Ah, the vanity of existence. It is but complaints and smoke, the meagre panache of its sickly soul.
The tobacco is giving you very sombre thoughts. I am certain that this inactivity will not last. Let's retire. You'll be in better humour tomorrow.
Reason speaks. Let's to bed.
Come this way, my lovely. We'll have a right good time. Wait, let me help you. Oh, it's my hair that pleases you.
The news is as dark as the sky, Holmes. An inquest has been opened into the murder of a poor woman in the East End. The unfortunate girl was discovered last night, lying in the street, still warm. The murderer was filled with an incredible savagery. Oh, the article gave me shivers down my spine. The inspectors in charge of the case don't seem to have even the slightest lead. A similar murder took place less than a month ago.
Ah, love. A romantic walk, a kiss in the moonlight, a polite refusal, a terrible anger, and a hanging.
This area of Whitechapel is a disgrace to London. The government should take serious note of what is going on there.
Whitechapel? This woman was found in Whitechapel?
Yes, indeed. Bucks Row, to be specific.
Then it was not a question of romance, but of commerce. Unless these women actually take pleasure in the vice, the female nature is completely...
Holmes, do you hear yourself? A woman is dead under unspeakable circumstances. No less than any other, she was a human, and one of Her Majesty's subjects. None of these streetwalkers of which you speak have any other way to survive but by selling their bodies. You know as well as I that our era is not a gentle one, and these women don't have much to look forward to. Some grace, if you would. Do not refuse them your compassion.
Do not say another word, my dear Watson. We shall leave immediately for Whitechapel.
To the scene of the crime?
No, I think it would be better to arrive there a bit later once night has fallen. At the moment, the spot will be overrun by police officers and spectators. It would be impossible to investigate properly.
Then where are we going, Holmes?
The best thing to do would be to head to the police station and attempt to get a copy of the preliminary reports.
But the article in the Star seemed quite complete to me.
You must know, Watson, that journalists often draw conclusions from the facts without a proper understanding of how to do this delicate task. We must obtain the reports from the inspector in charge, as well as those from the coroner.
Very well, Holmes, but all the same.
It seems to me that I have a map of London somewhere, Watson. Can you find it and locate Whitechapel while I get ready?
You are too kind, Holmes. Searching through your mess?
Okay, so let's read this article from the Star. Special edition, The Whitechapel Horror. The third crime of a man who must be a maniac. Woman lured to by streets to be butchered. The latest victim identified, opening the inquest to great local excitement. The victim of the latest Whitechapel horror, the woman who was found yesterday morning in Bucks Row completely disemboweled and with her head nearly gashed from her body, was for a time completely unknown. As the news of the murder spread, however, first one woman, then another came forward to view the body, and at length it was found that a woman answering the description of the murdered woman had lodged in a common lodging house, 18 Thrall Street, Spitalfields. Women from that place were fetched, and they identified the deceased as Polly, who had shared a room with 3 other women in the place on the usual terms of such houses. Nightly payment of 4D each, each woman having a separate bed. It was gathered that the deceased had led the life of an unfortunate while lodging in the house, which was only for about 3 weeks past. Nothing more was known of her by them, but that when she presented herself for her lodging on Thursday night, she was turned away by the deputy because she had not the money. She was then the worse for drink, but not drunk, and turned away laughing, saying, "I'll soon get my dos money. See what a jolly bonnet I've got now." She was wearing a bonnet which had not been seen with before, and left the lodging house door. A woman of the neighborhood saw her later. She told police even as late as 2:30 on Friday morning in Whitechapel Road. Late. Oh shoot. Wait. Just making sure that this doesn't... Whitechapel Road. Okay, it does. Late as 2:30 on Friday morning in Whitechapel Road. Man, this newspaper article. In Whitechapel Road, opposite of the church, and at the corner of Osborne Street, and at the 3:45 she was found within 500 yards of the spot murdered. The people of the lodging house knew her as Polly, but at about 7:30 late last evening, a woman named Mary Ann Monk, at present an inmate of Lambeth Workhouse, was taken to the mortuary and identified the body as that of Ariane Nichols, also called Polly Nichols. She knew her, she said, as they were inmates of the Lambeth Workhouse together in April and May last, the deceased having been passed there from another workhouse. On 12th May, according to Monk, Nichols, I don't know how to say that last name, left the workhouse to take a situation as servant at Ingleside Wandsworth Common. It afterwards became known that Nichols betrayed her trust as domestic servant by stealing £3 from her employer and absconding. From that time, she had been wandering about. Monk met her, she said, about 6 weeks ago, when herself out of the workhouse and drank with her. She was sure the deceased was Polly Nichols, and having twice reviewed the features as the body lay in the shell, maintained her opinion there was a terribly significant similarity between this ghastly crime and the two mysterious murders of the women which have occurred in the same district within the last 3 months. In each case, the victim has been a woman of abandoned character. Each crime has been committed in the dark hours of the morning, and more important still, as pointing to one man, and that man the maniac, being the culprit. Each murder has been accompanied by hideous mutilation. In the second case, that of the woman Martha Turner, it will be remembered that no fewer than 30 stabs were inflicted. The scene of this murder was George Yard, a place appropriately known locally as the slaughterhouse. As in both other cases, there was in this not the slightest clue to the murderer. No one was known to have any motive for causing the woman's death. She was parted from her husband and had lived with a man named Turner, but the searching coroner's inquiry revealed nothing connecting either with the crime. It was fancied that some of her many wounds had been caused by a bayonet, and she said she had said to have been seen with a soldier shortly before her death. Some soldiers were paraded at the tower, and one was said to have been identified by a policeman as having been waiting out about George Yard just about the time of the murder, but nothing came of it. The first murder, which, strangely enough, did not rouse much interest, was committed in Osborne Street. The woman in that case was alive when discovered, but unconscious when she died in the hospital without recovering her senses. Consequently, she was unable to whisper a word to the police. On the track of her fiendish assailant and her murder has remained a mystery. All 3 crimes have been committed within a very small radius. Each of the ill-lighted thoroughfares to which the women were decoyed to be foully butchered are off turning from Whitechapel Road, and all are within half a minute. The fact that these 3 tragedies have been committed within such a limited area and are so strangely alike in their details is forcing on all minds the conviction that they are the work of some cool, cunning man with a mania for murder. There was no new light thrown on the case this morning. At 9 o'clock, the body of deceased was removed from the mortuary to an improvised operating room on the premises, and Dr. Ralph Llewellyn made a post-mortem examination. The object of the examination was to determine, if possible, the order in which the various cuts were made. It is evident from the cuts in the throat that the head was bent back by the murderer before the knife was used. Whether the other mutilations took place before or after death remains to be settled, as also the position in which the woman lay when the deed done. There are several questions of this kind which may throw light on the case, notably the small quantity of blood at the place where she was found, and the fact that there must have been much of it somewhere else. At present, clue to the murder are entirely lacking, and the location of the place where the deed was done was the first point necessary to establish. Okay. So we shouldn't have any items. Only documents that. It's a dialogue. The notes don't contain any items. They are only meant to expound upon the facts already stated. Okay. You control Dr. Watson to move in the game. Just left click on the destination you want to reach. Double click to run.
Well, well, Holmes has received some French champagne with a card, a gift from a young admirer. Signed, Raoul d'Andrecy. Who on earth could that be?
Oh, and it's green. So if we...
Holmes's experiment table.
Okay, so I get... Okay, that's nice. So if we've already seen something, it will go to green. How do we get out of first person? Nope, that's not it. That is not it. Resume, resume, resume. Okay. See, I got a feeling that this is for when we're not in first person, but I need to figure out. Okay. Okay. Holding shift causes him to run. So we know that in first person. I'm just trying to figure out how to get him out. Here we go, third person. Okay, good. In this game, you can change your playing perspective at will. Press R key or the middle mouse button to switch to first person mode. Okay. Press R. Remember, you can change anytime in the game. Okay, thank you.
Treaty on Cornish, the Celtic dialect of Cornwall. And here, medieval pottery. How can Holmes possibly read such things?
Okay, hold on. It wants me to go to first person. Yes, and okay, we already figured out. The space button for dynamic help and see all your accessible items from your current position. You can use this button from both perspective modes. Awesome.
This is the coal bucket in which Holmes keeps his cigars. What a funny idea.
Now time to start the game. Find the map on the table and click on it to take it to your inventory.
This is how Holmes stores his post. Thank goodness his clients don't see this.
Okay, well, let's just do these ones
Holmes
first.
uses this old Persian slipper to hold his pipe tobacco. Colonel Gordon, during the last adventure of the resident patient.
Nope, that's not leave. It's gonna right now. Okay, that's the map on the table. Okay, I think that's really it. So, map on the table.
A map of London, at last. Let's see. The district of Whitechapel.
Okay. Police
I
station.
found the map, Holmes, and I was able to locate the Whitechapel police station.
Congratulations, Watson. Come, the game is afoot. You can read the article to me on the way. We have arrived, Watson, in Whitechapel.
Not very bright, and what cold! Brr, a typical London morning.
Come, Watson, let's find this police station.
Okay. You control Sherlock Holmes. I just say I have upped the gamma. Hopefully, I just upped it enough to displace the darkening that happens with editing and then putting up onto YouTube. Unfortunately, by the time this video comes out, fortunately by the time, okay, yes, Watson, thank you. Fortunately, by the time this video comes out, I would have I've done all the recording, so let's go here. I'm going to avoid first-person view just because I know I am going to get ill after a certain amount of time. So nothing to look at. Oh, here we go. I was wondering how to talk
Then
to him.
quickly, let's get to the police station.
Is this not the police station right here? Okay, just entered the police station. There's really nothing we can do.
Well, this station isn't very well kept, I say.
It's a local outpost, Watson. The daily tasks that confront these constables are not the easiest, and they are poorly paid.
Okay, let's look at all the things we can...
Her Majesty Queen Victoria. What would she think of this mess? This police station is like a laundry. What a scandal.
I like how we're controlling Holmes, but Watson's the one who speaks.
Look, a suspect description. Michael Ostrog, wanted for questioning. Dangerous.
Okay, let's talk to this guy. Don't know if anything's on the other side, but...
Gentlemen, welcome.
Hello, I would like to speak with the Chief Inspector, if you please.
Constable Humphreys here. I am the only one in at the moment. What do you want with the chief?
My name is Sherlock Holmes. I am...
Sherlock Holmes? The detective that I read about in the papers? Well, that's a treat, that is. You come about the Buck Road case, have you?
Indeed, we...
Not at all. We were just passing by chance. You say that there was a crime recently.
You don't know? You must be the only folk in London who haven't heard.
It won't be long until you find the culprit, no doubt.
Nothing is less certain. Suspects 0. Clues 0. It's not good for us, especially not in this district.
Oh, okay, I didn't see... I wasn't looking... I was looking down here the entire time, because that's where they usually show up. I'm used to
Listen,
things
this
showing
isn't
up.
what I came here for, but if I can be of service, in a confidential capacity, of course, if you can entrust me with a copy of the preliminary reports, I could study them and return later with my conclusions.
It's just that these are official documents. I can't take a decision like that without the inspectors.
The sooner we know the facts in the file, the sooner we can be of help, my friend.
Say, if you are Sherlock Holmes, you can find anything, isn't that true? With your magnifying glass, footprints.
My performance is often embellished by my biographer.
Ah, good. Good. I will give you the reports, but could you do me a small favour first? During my rounds, I dropped a leather folder containing some papers. Nothing of importance, but it's a big mistake. I would go looking for it myself, but I am stuck here on duty. I must have lost it near the seedy boarding house not far from here. Left when you leave the courtyard and left again in the lane. Perhaps you could go, ask around.
Listen, this isn't what I came here for, but if I can be of service...
Oh, shoot.
The sooner we know...
Say, if...
My performance...
Ah,
Suit.
during my round, I...
Okay, let's, goodbye.
We shall see what we can do. Are we going to go look for these documents?
Why not? It'll give us an occasion to take a tour of the district, Watson.
Okay. Seeing if there's anything to take a look at, but...
Commercial Street.
Okay, there was a lot of yelling there. I just wanted to look what the guy said. Hello, I'd like to speak with Chief Inspector, blah, blah, blah. Scroll all the way down. Humphrey. Not far from here. Left when you leave the courtyard. Left again in the lane. If you could go ask around.
Commercial Street. Commercial Street.
Okay, well, left.
Commercial Street.
It all just says Commercial Street. And then left again. Hopefully, I'm doing this right.
Excuse me, my good man.
Nasty weather, eh?
That's it? Really?
What are we doing, Holmes?
Trying to find a seedy boarding house. I'm talking to random people.
Come, my lord. A little coin. Oi!
Okay. Okay, so not here. Just gonna run into you. Don't mind me. Wait, there's something over here. Come on. Can I talk to him?
Good day, sir. You wouldn't happen to have seen a leather folder on the ground around here, would you?
Good day, gentlemen. Finley, caretaker of this building. Here to serve. And yes, less than an hour ago. But some of the local urchins picked it up and God only knows where it might be now.
That's unfortunate. This police bag contained documents that the local police will miss.
You're inspectors.
Not at all. I am Dr. Watson, and this is Sherlock Holmes, the detective.
Sherlock Holmes, the great detective. You must be here about last night's murder. Have you discovered the identity of the poor woman?
Indeed, I'd only to read the papers.
Mine is dated from this morning, and it does not say who it is.
I'm not really engaged in this case, but if I can help the police, I will do so willingly.
Oh, to be sure. I've been told that Inspector Aberline is in charge, a very capable man.
So, according to you, I have no chance of finding this folder then?
Indeed. But I, on the other hand, should be able to find it. Do me a favour in exchange. A vagrant comes almost every night to sleep in one of the nooks not far from my windows. He coughs, howls, sometimes even sings. He's quite hefty and I don't dare approach him. I've lost 3 tenants because of him. If it's you who speaks to the police, they will take this matter more seriously. Tell them about the captain. They'll know who you're talking about. In the meantime, I'll find your police bag.
Okay. East London Advertiser, another Whitechapel mystery, horrible murders in the Buckrose. Okay, so this is his version of the paper that he got. Scarcely has the horror and sensation caused by the discovery of the murdered woman in Whitechapel some short time ago had time to abate when another discovery is made which, for the brutality exercised on the victim, is even more shocking and will no doubt create as great a sensation in the vicinity as its predecessors. The affair up to the present is enveloped in complete mystery, and the police has yet no evidence to trace the perpetrators of the horrible deed. The facts are that Constable John Neal was walking down Bucks Road, Thomas Street, Whitechapel, about 3:45 on Friday morning when he discovered a woman between 35 and 40 years of age lying at the side of the street with her throat cut right open from ear to ear. The instrument with which the deed was done traversing the throat from left to right. The wound was about 2 inches wide and blood was flowing profusely. She was discovered to be lying in a pool of blood. She was immediately conveyed to the Whitechapel mortuary when it was found that besides the wound in the throat, the lower part of the abdomen was completely ripped open with the bowels protruding. The wound extends nearly to her breast and must have been effected with a large knife. As the corpse lies in the mortuary, it presents a ghastly sight. The victim seems to be between 35 and 40, you already stated that, of age, and measure 5 feet 2 inches in height. The hands are bruised and bear evidence of having engaged in a severe struggle. There is the impression of a ring having been worn on one of the deceased's fingers, but there is nothing to show that it had been wrenched from her in the struggle. Some of the front teeth have also been knocked out, and the face is bruised on both cheeks and very much discolored. Deceased wore a rough brown ulster with large buttons in front. Her clothes are torn and cut up in various places, bearing evidence of a ferocity with which the murder was committed. The only way by which the police can prosecute an inquiry at present is by finding someone who can identify the deceased and then, if possible, trace those in whose company she was last seen. On Bucks Row, naturally, the greatest excitement prevails, and several persons in the neighborhood state that an affray occurred shortly after midnight, when no screams were heard, nor anything beyond what might have been considered evidence of an ordinary brawl. In any case, the police unfortunately will have great difficulty in bringing to justice the murderer of murderers. Great fire at the London warehouse. The fire broke out shortly before 9 o'clock on Thursday night in one of the huge warehouses of the London warehouses. The warehouses were closed as usual at 4 in the afternoon, and there are then few persons except the night policemen and firemen left on the premise. At about 8:30, a small smell of fire was noticed, and shortly afterwards there was an immense burst of flames from the top of one of the vast buildings right in the center of the warehouses. The volume of the fire was terrific, but at 9 o'clock the authorities of the fire brigade had heard nothing of the occurrence. Shortly afterwards an alarm was given at the Whitechapel station, and the officials of the brigade instantly ordered every steamer to proceed to the scene, and the circulation of the news amongst the other stations caused steamers to be sent from every district in London. On arrival of the engine, it was found that a fire of enormous strength was raging in the upper floors of a great building about 150 yards long and half as broad. The flames could not have broken out in a more dangerous part of the warehouses than the site of this fire, the South Quay warehouses. They were crammed with colonial produce in the upper floors and brandy and gin in the lower floors. Though the great iron-barred windows, the fire could be seen raging like a furnace, and enormous tongues of bluish and yellow flames, which constantly burst with great roars, painted to the fact that the spirits were aiding the progress of the flames. The scene at 10:30 was an imposing one. In the enormous warehouses crammed with goods of incalculable value, with vast buildings on every side, and with great vessels in a wet warehouses, firemen, policemen, and dock officers were either watching or aiding in endeavoring to extinguish the fire, while the enormous crowd gathered around the great gates and gazed at the progress of the fire from a distance. How many times in the article had I had to say
Let's go to
warehouse?
the police station.
Okay. My goodness. I'm just kind of curious if, like, how much research did the developers, whoever is in charge, or the writers of the game, kind of actually went back and saw how newspapers were written at this time? Those newspapers have an extraordinary amount of detail. Again, that scream. That same scream. You know, I never actually checked the side. What's this?
These
that's
archives are impressive. I bet they have been carefully conserved, classified and indexed in order to follow the evolution of criminality in this area with extreme precision. Wouldn't you say, Holmes?
Given their condition, more likely for lighting the furnace, Watson.
Okay. Oh, that's definitely a place we can't go yet.
So, gentlemen, have you found my police bag?
And there's me taking time to take a drink of water.
Not quite yet. Do you know a vagrant who goes by the name of the Captain?
Captain? Yes, an old sailor, strong as a Turk and tattooed from head to toe. The drink has turned him into a derelict.
He appears to be causing some problems for the caretaker of the building at the end of the street.
What do you want us to do? Every night, stairwells, halls and porches become public dormitories, and people don't only come to sleep. I believe this man has a niece who puts him up sometimes. Her lodgings are in Commercial Street, right after the alley with the boarding house. You won't forget my folder, will you?
Okay.
Do you believe this woman will agree to have her uncle stay with her?
No idea. Oh well, let's go see her just the same.
Checking the amount of time I have left. So far, it's a lot of, like, do this and that in order to get something done, though this is further perpetuated by the fact that in order to get one task done, I need to also help. Oh, this is the right. Right this way? Hope so. Whoa. Hello.
I have nothing to ask.
Okay. Can I talk to her? Men's club? Hopefully I'm going the right
Pardon
way.
me, but can you give me some information?
If you're looking for a princess lover, you found her.
Okay. Anything else I can look at? What's that?
Burner Street.
It said right of the alley.
On this poster is written Club for Socialist Jews, the Cradle of Liberty. Interesting.
Sorry, I just want to
Burner
see.
Street.
Okay. Well, she lives on Commercial Street.
Burner Street.
He said right of the boarding house. Where he dropped his stuff. So maybe if I go further up ahead? Ooh, okay. Awkward. Change an angle.
Batty Street.
The hell? I can talk to someone up here? Or is that niece?
There.
It's a
This is
commercial.
where the niece
Okay.
of the captain must live.
Again, that scream.
Good day, miss. Would you happen to be the niece of the man known as the captain?
Oh, yes, that would be me. What has he done this time? He isn't... Oh my God, I'm on my way.
Miss, we have come to ask if you could have your uncle come live with you. He sleeps under the windows of a boarding house, causes the caretaker no end of problems.
I know. I've lodged him for a while, and he was the same here. My landlord made me kick him out. I'm ashamed, you know. I never should have, given the state of his health. He coughs day and night.
There might be a way to calm his cough. I am a doctor. I could examine him.
You went to see a doctor at the clinic, but the medicine costs too much. I can hardly pay my rent.
We will see to it. Where might your uncle be found?
I don't know. He must be in the vicinity, but I don't know exactly where.
Okay.
We will find him.
Holmes, this is serious. Find an alcoholic in Whitechapel? A needle in a haystack would be easier.
Come, dear doctor, let's trust to our lucky star. Moreover, we also have our informers, remember?
Are you referring to those brats to whom you are always giving charity?
Exactly, my secret police. Some of them must surely roam in this area. It suffices to find them.
Okay. So we need to find that kid. Now... Okay, I think I'm going to switch to first person mode. So I have a better idea. Someone's just like over there. So it looks like, oh wait, he's literally right behind us. Okay, let's run. Child, tell me where I can find
Hello,
this man.
young man. How are you?
I recognize him. It's the lad who sells newspapers, who is always calling outside our windows at Baker Street, early in the morning.
Hello, Mr. Holmes. It's a treat to see you again. What can I do?
Would you happen to know an old sailor who goes by the name of the captain? A poor man who hits the bottle a bit hard.
Of course, Mr. Holmes. He's there at the end of the street. Round to the left he is. But be careful. He can be a tough customer, that one.
Very good, my young man. The doctor will give you a little something. Watson?
Huh? I say, Holmes?
Is he always such a skinflint with you, Mr. Holmes? Well, thanks to you, Mr. Holmes. Anytime you need me.
Like, he said, here's the problem. They say, oh, he's just there, over there, to the left. I'm like, what's there? There is not a direction. Okay, but either way, I'm going to need to end the set here. So thank you for liking if you like. Thank you for commenting if you commented. Thank you for subscribing if you subscribed. Thank you for favoriting if you favorited. And thank you for simply clicking on this video. Until next time, guys. See ya!